within this video interview, looking at giving further detailed perspective on the practical application of and as breath orgasm. Now, the tendency of beings is placing the emphasis on orgasm, wherein breath orgasm is interpreted, perceived as being an experience of an orgasmic expression, where what in fact then really happens is that one's hand or vibrator or pillow, blanket, whatever is utilized to entice an orgasm or orgasmic experience is replaced with breath, and your physical body maneuvering, wherein you thus force a orgasmic experience through breath or heavy breathing or moving your body in a certain specific particular way, without using a direct interaction with other body parts or manifestations. So understand that this is not breath orgasm. This is simply changing the method and manifestation in getting or manifesting, creating the exact same energetic expression or experience of an as mind orgasm. Breath orgasm is a practical application lived and expressed as self here with and as breath to assist and support with the release of and as energy accumulation or build up within and as the human physical body. Understand that the orgasmic experience that one enforces through breathing within having an orgasmic experience, what happens is not a release. What happens is a suppression and a layering of and as that orgasmic experience that you enticed or enforced through the breathing or the maneuvering of your human physical body in the breathing application. Breath orgasm is wherein you in fact release the energetic build-up that compound or accumulate or accelerate within and as you, wherein the experience is actually that of a stability that manifests within and as your human physical body. Meaning, let's say you experience a reaction of energy, particularly, for example, let's have a look at one of the most problematic and all-consuming possessive ones that's experienced is sexuality, wherein one experienced that initial enticing, seductive charge starting to accumulate from your groin area, and you can experience it starting to bubble inside your human physical body, and with that there's like this pool that's happening in and as your human physical body, and images and fantasies and pictures are starting to emerge, and it's like your whole body is going into that energetic craving of just going into that one action of stimulating the experience to have an orgasmic experience. Now understand that what you're accepting and allowing within that moment, within the manifested consequence of falling into that addictive pattern or habitual behavior, is that of compounding the suppressed manifested energetic layers within and as your human physical body, feeding your total mind consciousness system, because remember, your sexual energy is one of the all-encompassing energetic networks that's manifested in the mind consciousness system, and so you'll be fueling and charging all your mind consciousness system constructs, parts, components, making your total and whole process so the more difficult, wherein any and all applications that you've done before that moment will become null and void, because you'll be reinstating them within accepting and allowing yourself to go into this point of sexuality, because your sexual energy is linked to and as your total mind consciousness system, and everything that you are within and as the mind consciousness system, as we have explained in relation to sexuality, where with the orgasm it basically releases that total energetic charge into your total conscious, subconscious and unconscious mind, and so you'll just be rebuilding, recreating, reestablishing your total mind consciousness system, and then having to redo everything that you've done before, and will make it so the more difficult because you've built a layer within and upon it. And then you also have to go through the whole experience of guilt and shame and regret. If you accept and allow yourself to go into that, you're building another layer within another dimension, and I mean, it's a total, complete, unnecessary fuck up. So you're literally then within that fucking yourself, within the context of consequence and not pleasure. So the amount and extent of consequence that you're going to be facing is really not worth that splurge of perceived momentary touch of pleasure that is not even actual real pleasure, but like a game that one play with oneself in relation to creating a idea of what pleasure could be, and then justifying, excusing and reasoning with yourself that that is okay and acceptable for now, and thus you will continue accepting and allowing yourself to give in to energy within moments of splurges of perceived pleasure, which is simply accepting and allowing yourself to fall into the trap of addiction to and as energy. And instead of assisting and supporting oneself to start stopping, accepting and allowing oneself to limit oneself to that one moment of energetic splurge, and assist and support oneself to start discovering what actual pleasure within physical real expression here mean as self in fact, and to explore and experience that for self. It's simply to start assisting and supporting oneself to stop that moment of energetic addiction. It's initially obviously going to be hard and difficult because you've built such an energetic entity within it, and this is where Breath-Orgasm assists and supports. So Breath-Orgasm is like your actual real physical moment expression, wherein you stop your energetic orgasmic addictive participation within a momentary splurge of interpreted or believed pleasure, and actually assist and support yourself to experience what actual real physical expression within and as equality and oneness really is. But before you can explore and experience and expand yourself within that part of you as physical, real, actual, in fact expression, is to first stop participating in addictive energy patterns through and as breath orgasm. So when that energy starts emerging within you and it's like you're going to that point of really wanting to satisfy it and experience that energetic moment, you apply the breath orgasm, which is taking a deep breath and breathing out. And as you breathe in, it's like you can experience the movement of yourself in your total human physical body. And please, that movement is absolutely stable. So you just focus on that movement of you within and as the physical with breath, and you in fact experience yourself as the inhaling of the breath. And literally all you become in that moment is the inhaling and the experience of that inhaling of the breath, and the exhaling and the release of that energy. So it's like you experience the inhaling of the breath as breath. You become breath in that moment in your total human physical body. I mean, if you're here, really here, and you're with the physical, with that breath, absolutely in that moment, it's like all you are is the experience of the inhaling of the breath that you pull from all parts of your total human physical body. And it's like in that you establish yourself in your total human physical body with the in-breath. So you breathe in. I mean, you can take it slow for yourself, but obviously not too slow that you become lightheaded. So know your physical capacity and breathe accordingly, not to compromise yourself deliberately. We are still in the physical, and air is still definitely a factor, so breathe comfortably in slowly, and then with the out breath you will thus have that physical stability equal in one stance to release the built up energy. And within doing so, the breath orgasm is that point of the experience of the becoming of the breath, and that moment of that experience in becoming breath, the total physical, and then having that stance to be able to assist and support yourself to release the energy. So what you're in fact doing through and as breath orgasm is establishing yourself in the physical through breath, so that you can release the energy within and as you, so that you have a stable starting point within and as yourself, within and as the human physical body, to be able to release the energy. Because understand, the moment before, when the energy had an influence or effect or control over and of you, where it had the power to take you or attempt to take you to the point of giving into it, wherein you would have thus given over to the addictive pattern and, for example, masturbated to pictures or magazines or images or fantasies. The energy had power, control, and influence over and of you. Now, what you're doing through breath orgasm is stopping that accepted and allowed relationship towards the energy through establishing yourself in the physical with, through, and as breath, so that you can stand and stop and establish a point of self-stability in who you are here in, as, and with the physical. Now, the more and more you apply this, the more stable and sound you'll become in and as the physical. So, for example, now you've breathed through and as that energy. The more you do that, the more you establish yourself in the physical for real, in fact. And the more you do that, and the more you establish yourself in the actual physical, you can then start considering exploring what it means to express yourself as and with the physical, wherein you will then, for example, interact with the actual physical instead of through energy within the mind as pictures, images, and fantasies. So this then a structural example in relation to how breath orgasm work in establishing a physical relationship with an as self here. So breath orgasm is that moment of establishing self in the physical through breath to be able to release and stop the energy, and your self experience in the physical will thus be stable and sound. It won't be an energetic, orgasmic release of a momentary splurge of satisfaction that only lasts for the amount or extent of energy build-up that you have accumulated over a certain period of time, which is usually very short, but a few seconds. Really, that is not life, that is not living, that is not reality, and that is not real, and that is not worth it. As I've explained, where such a moment of seconds will cost one a manifested consequence of various parts of self that will be required to be faced over an extended period of time in the physical through reality experiences. So rather assist and support self in becoming real, in establishing self in the physical, with the physical through breath orgasm as breathing, so that you can establish that part of, for, and as self in and as the physical, to be able to release the energy, to be able to stand. And within that, it'll also assist and support self within other parts of one's world and one's reality, wherein the point of breathing here, whenever a reaction is experienced, the same principle applies. So all in all, the breath orgasm is to stabilize self in the physical, to be sound here, to eventually be able to assist and support self to be able to express in the physical for real. Thank you very much.